Sanitation District No. 1 takes its role as Northern Kentucky's stormwater utility seriously. We strive to manage stormwater runoff within our service area. As you might imagine, that's no easy task. As Northern Kentucky developed, long before SD1 assumed control of the region's stormwater management, cities and counties owned and maintained stormwater infrastructure. Regulations were less stringent, drainage plans were not always a priority, and storm pipes were often inadequate or never formally dedicated to public ownership. The result is a storm system that has a mix of privately and publicly owned infrastructure that can become overwhelmed by wet weather events in some areas. Depending on a neighborhood's topography, that could lead to floodwater that ends up in yards, or worse, inside homes. Fast forward to 1999, when federal stormwater regulations were passed requiring cities and counties to meet certain minimum stormwater runoff standards. Since Northern Kentucky's cities and counties had different stormwater practices, and because stormwater runoff doesn't recognize political boundaries, community leaders felt a regional approach to federal stormwater permitting was the best solution. After several years of consideration, SD1 became a co-permittee in 2003 with over 30 cities and counties across Northern Kentucky to administer federal stormwater permitting responsibilities. During the study period, it was also determined that a regional approach to stormwater asset maintenance was needed. Interlocal agreements and subsequent asset transfer agreements were enacted between SD1 and co-permittees outlining asset maintenance responsibilities, with the first assets being transferred to SD1 in 2009. The transfer agreements require SD1 to maintain assets at the same level of service as when they were transferred. There is no mandate to expand stormwater infrastructure throughout the system to meet current stormwater standards. Because of our region's development history and the spatial and financial realities associated with stormwater management, regional flooding issues can only be mitigated. They can never fully be eliminated. Just like bridges have weight limits, our region's stormwater system, even after improvements have been made, cannot handle an unlimited amount of stormwater flow. The goal of the stormwater utility is to mitigate stormwater runoff issues as much as possible, while keeping the costs associated with stormwater management reasonable for all customers. Because the stormwater program and its associated fee structure have not been fully understood by a large segment of our community, ongoing efforts are being made to clarify SD1's role as the region's stormwater manager. Although SD1 is not obligated to expand pipes to meet current standards, we strive to mitigate the highest priority flooding issues across the region based on resource availability. In order to achieve this goal, SD1 developed a priority matrix and a clearly defined scope of the stormwater utility in 2018. The priority matrix prioritizes all stormwater-related issues SD1 is aware of throughout the region. This is done by ranking potential projects against all other projects based on risk to public health, property damage, and the environmental impact. Once projects are prioritized, the SD1 board determines which projects, if any, will be funded through its annual budgeting process. The scope of the stormwater utility establishes level of service standards for projects that have been identified through the prioritization process. In general, SD1 strives to meet the same standards as new development. When new development standards cannot be met because of space or financial limitations, the scope allows for a level of service to improve the problem to the maximum extent practicable. Co-permittees often have specific stormwater issues that are important to their municipality, but do not rise high enough on the regional priority matrix to warrant SD1 funding. For these cases, SD1 offers several funding programs to help mitigate their specific stormwater-related issues. These include public and private cost-share programs. It's also important to remember that our region's stormwater system is complex and dynamic, and even after improvements have been made, it cannot handle an unlimited amount of stormwater flow. When the system is overwhelmed by heavy rainfall, overland flooding, or the risk of basement backups may still exist in some areas. Given these realities and limitations of the region's stormwater program, SD1 established the Backup Assistance Program in 2017 to bring immediate relief to property owners who face sanitary sewer backups caused by significant rain events. SD1 strives to eliminate all sanitary sewer backups and highly recommends all customers experiencing backup issues contact SD1 immediately to apply for funding to install a backflow prevention device. Sanitation District No. 1, managing Northern Kentucky's wastewater and stormwater.